What's good, Eagles fans? Y'all are tuned into another episode of Chalk It Up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II, and I got to admit, y'all, I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to be back here with you guys. I'm just so grateful for life. I'm so grateful for family. I'm just grateful for love. I'm grateful for sports. I'm grateful for it all. But I really want to dive deeper into that Steelers-Eagles matchup because that's going to be one of our hardest matchups of the year. And let's not waste any time. So let's think about who the Pittsburgh Steelers have actually played, because they're 3-0. And in my humble opinion, they've gotten fat off weak teams. Teams that are down on their luck. Teams that are just flat out terrible all across the board. So let's go matchup to matchup to matchup. Okay? So the Pittsburgh Steelers have played who? Week 1, they played the New York Giants. Do I really need to get into that much detail when it comes to the New York Giants? They're terrible. They suck. As a matter of fact, I even wonder how a team can really be that bad for this long. But let's move on to the Steelers Week 2 matchup when they played the Denver Broncos. Oh, let's not forget, the New York Giants, as it stands right now, are 0-4. Let's keep that in mind, okay? New York Giants 0-4. But not really a surprise. So moving on to the Week 2 matchup that the Steelers had against the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos, as a team right now, are 1-3. So the Denver Broncos are not really a good team right now. They're building, and again, their defense is pretty good. They're without Von Miller for the rest of the year, but their defense is pretty good, but offense is where their real problem is, and that's where the Pittsburgh Steelers defense didn't really have to work that hard. And again, like I said, Denver Broncos' defense is okay, but they're not good enough to really hang with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Let's just be totally honest. But let's just go by the numbers a little bit, right? So when it comes to the Denver Broncos, so far, they have a 38% third down conversion rate. A 38% third down conversion rate. And they're averaging 2.5 minutes per drive. So what does that tell you off the bat? They can't sustain drives. They can't maintain drives. They can't stay on the field to put up points, point blank and period. So that makes it very easy for the Steelers defense to really stifle that offense. It makes it very easy for that offense to put up points when they don't have the pressure of an electric offense on the other side of the ball. So again, Week 1, Week 2, New York Giants, Denver Broncos, who did they really play? And on top of that, the Denver Broncos, who's their quarterback? And when it comes to the Giants, their quarterback is Daniel Jones. He's still a project. So let's move on to Week 3 when the Pittsburgh Steelers play the Houston Texans. And I got to admit, y'all, the Houston Texans is one of the biggest disappointments this season for me personally. Besides my Eagles right now, the Houston Texans are one of the biggest disappointments this year. Let's be totally frank. They are 0-4, just like the New York Giants. They have one of the worst O-lines in the NFL. No question about it. One of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. And on top of that, the Texans don't have a pretty good third down conversion rate either. They have a 35% third down conversion rate. That's terrible. They can't sustain drives or stay on the field at all either. Now, the defense can't stop the run on top of that when it comes to the Houston Texans. They can't stop the run at all. As a matter of fact, their defense is averaging 5 yards per carry giving up to rushers, giving up to running backs this year. Through 4 weeks, the defense is averaging 5 yards per carry. Seriously? Seriously. That's why James Conner was able to eat against y'all that week. James Conner is doing very well. And we're going to talk a little bit more about players that the Eagles need to key on, or specific groups on the Steelers organization that they need to key in on. But let's put these 3 teams together that they played Week 1 through Week 3, okay? The New York Giants, 0-4. The Denver Broncos, 1-3. The Houston Texans, 0-4. Now, that gives us a grand total of 1 win and 11 losses. So, who is it they've played? They haven't played anybody greedy. They haven't played anybody with heart. They haven't played anybody that's living like they beggars against the wall. They haven't played a team like the Eagles yet. Let's keep it totally real. This is a very winnable game. If the Eagles key in on Juju Smith-Schuster and Big Ben, James Conner, and they key in on that Steelers pass rush, they can win the game. But let's be honest, Juju Smith-Schuster is not a game to be reckoned with. He's coming off of that down year because of injury, and he's feeling revitalized. So far, he has 17 receptions, 160 yards, and 3 touchdowns through 3 weeks, through 3 games. Now, that's not much. There's nothing to really wow at, but he has 3 touchdowns over a 3-game span. That's very good. He's productive. And on top of that, he's averaging nearly, I want to say, about 10 yards per catch. So he's moving the ball. He's catching the ball. He's good. The guy's talent is undeniable. And Darius Slay is going to be a key guy. Darius Slay is going to be huge on Juju Smith-Schuster. I actually trust Darius Slay more than I have faith in Juju Smith to do what he's going to do to us. You know what I mean? So we got to key in on that passing game, right? And then moving on to the running game. Again, James Conner got fat off of these past few weeks with these bad teams, but the running game is legit. James Conner is a good running back. Right now, he has 224 yards on the ground, averaging 5.6 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns on the season. I'm paying attention to how many yards he's averaging per carry, but the Eagles' pride is in the run-stopping game. That's where the Eagles live. That's the Eagles' bread and butter. And right now, the Eagles have one of the top defensive lines in the NFL. I think they lead the league in sacks. Now, that just speaks to their pass rush, not really to their run-stopping ability, but that just goes to show you that D-line is very stout and they're not going to be easy to run up on. And then I mentioned the Steelers' pass rush in those blitz packages. Let's be honest. The Steelers' pass rush is off the chain. 15 sacks. 15 sacks and 16 quarterback knockdowns on the year. That's crazy to me. That means that when they get there, they mean business. And they don't waste time. So, there are 3 Eagles that need to have big games. 2 of them are players. 1 of them is a group of players. Now, Carson Wentz must play a perfect game. He must have his best game of the year. He must play one of the best games he's had in his past 10 games, in my opinion. I feel like Carson Wentz has kind of really been up and down. I feel like he's trying to find his identity personally. But Carson Wentz is going to be huge this game. He needs to have a flawless game. He cannot shoot the Eagles in the foot. He cannot turn the ball over, point blank, period. And on top of that, I mentioned Darius Slay. Darius Slay must have a big game against Juju. Anytime Juju, anywhere Juju go, you got to go, my brother, and you got to lead. This is all about leadership and putting that confidence in those young guys' backs that you're leading, like Kavon Wallace. Kavon Wallace didn't have a good game against George Kittle, but George Kittle, that's an NFL body. That's a man. Kavon Wallace, that's a young buck. So he's still got a lot of growing to do, but it's up to Darius Slay to let this defense know this is what we're here to do. Same thing with Fletcher Cox. Those 2 guys have to be the staples on defense. They have to. Point blank and period. Brandon Graham, they have to be the staples on defense. They have to lock everything down all across the board. And most importantly, Jordan Mailata, the offensive lineman that's coming in for Jason Peters. He must have a huge game. He must be dominant. He must be aware, and he must be on point against this very, very extensive pass rush from the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is not going to be sweet. This is not going to be light. This is going to be his toughest matchup ever. He's going to start again, and I believe he's going to have a good game. You guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to be an easy case, but let's be honest. Who have they really played? They haven't played a team like us. They ain't played a team as hungry as us, and we know it. Listen, y'all, it's going to be so exciting. I can't wait for tomorrow. Today is Saturday, and woo, man, 1 o'clock can't come no fast enough, man. No fast enough. But I want to thank y'all for locking in on the content. Make sure y'all share, subscribe. Y'all like the content. That helps the content get everywhere I need it to get to. Make sure y'all hit the little bell to make sure y'all get notifications when the content goes up. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all was tuned in to Chalk It Up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, y'all. Fly, Eagles, fly.